The eviction notice felt cold in my hands, its sharp edges cutting through the happiness of my birthday. Just a few moments ago, I had been smiling, surrounded by family, thinking this was going to be my best birthday ever. I'm Patricia, and this is how my 35th birthday became the day my family betrayed me. Open it, dear. We're all so excited for you to see what's inside, my mother said, her eyes shining, not with joy, but with nervousness. The fancy envelope looked harmless, wrapped in silver paper with a delicate bow. The living room of my childhood home, the one I had spent the last 6 years fixing up, was full of familiar faces. My cousin Dylan sat on the armrest of the couch, watching me with an unreadable expression. My brother Harold stood by the fireplace, hands deep in his pockets, avoiding my eyes. Come on, Patricia. We don't have all day, Saw chirped, her voice sickly sweet. I remember thinking it was strange how dressed up she was for a simple family gathering. As I tore open the envelope, the taste of birthday cake still in my mouth, my stomach dropped. Notice of eviction. The bold words stared back at me. What is this? My voice was barely a whisper.
Mom? Dad?
My mother's face crumpled. Sweetheart, we've been trying to find the right time to tell you. Tell me what? I stood up, my hands shaking. That you're kicking me out of my own home? The home I've spent my savings on? My time? My heart? Saw cleared her throat. Patricia, be reasonable. The house was never officially yours. The deed is still in your parents' names, and they've decided it's time for a change. A change? I turned to face her. What do you know about this? I'm just helping the family make the best financial decision, she said, smoothing down her designer skirt. The market is really good right now. The market? I let out a bitter laugh, though it sounded more like a sob. This is my home, not some investment property. My brother finally spoke up. Patricia, maybe we should talk about this privately.
No.
I slammed the paper down on the coffee table, making the plate shake. I want answers now. Mom, Dad, why are you doing this? My father wouldn't look at me. There have been concerns about your ability to take care of the house, he said. Kelly has shown us some troubling documents. Documents? I felt like I couldn't breathe. What documents? I've done nothing but improve this house. Look around, new hardwood floors, a modern kitchen, restored Victorian details. I did all of that. With questionable contractors, Kelly said smoothly. And there have been noise complaints from neighbors. Plus, some unauthorized changes to the property. That's not true. My voice shook. I turned to my best friend, Lauren, who stood frozen in the corner.
Pa, tell them.
You've been here through all the renovations. Lauren stepped forward, her face firm. Everything Patricia's done has been legal. I've seen all the permits myself. But my family's faces didn't change. My mother reached for my hand. Sweetie, you have 25 days. I pulled away. 25 days? To leave my home? On my birthday? The room started spinning. How long have you been planning this? Kelly straightened her blazer. I think we should all calm down and talk about this. The decision has been made, Patricia. Fighting it will only make things harder. Something clicked. This wasn't just about the house. This was planned. The formal outfit. The documents she mentioned. The way she was acting like she was just trying to help. Get out, I whispered. Then louder. Everyone get out. Patricia, please, my mother started. But one by one, they all left. Only Lauren stayed. As the door closed behind them, I sank onto the couch. The eviction notice sat on the coffee table, mocking me. Lauren sat beside me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. This isn't over, Patricia. Something isn't right here. We're going to figure it out. I wiped my eyes. The shock faded, replaced by anger. You're right. Kelly is behind this. She's always wanted this house since we were kids. I sat up, a new determination running through me. And I'm going to prove it. I looked around at my home. The walls I had painted, the fixtures I had restored, the memories I had built. I made a promise to myself. This won't be my last birthday here. The next morning, I sat at the kitchen counter, staring at my phone. 20 missed calls from Mom. 7 from Harold. None from Kelly, of course. You need to eat something, Lauren said, sliding a plate of toast in front of me. She had stayed the night, sleeping on my couch like we used to in college. You can't fight this on an empty stomach. I pushed the plate away. I can't eat. I need to find out what Kelly has been telling my parents. My hands shook as I reached for my phone. I pulled up my mom's contact and hit call. Put it on speaker, Lauren said, sitting beside me. Mom answered on the first ring. Patricia. Thank goodness. We've been so worried. Save it. I cut her off. I want to know exactly what Kelly has been saying about me. She sighed heavily. Honey, it's not just what Kelly said. She showed us documents, complaints about unauthorized construction from the neighborhood association. That's impossible. I slammed my hand on the counter. I have every permit, every approval. Who complained? Well, I don't have the actual complaints in front of me. Kelly handled all of that. Of course she did, I said bitterly. And did you even check if it was true? Did you ask me about it before surprising me with an eviction notice on my birthday? Silence. Finally, Mom spoke, her voice small. Kelly said you deny everything. She said you've been struggling with money, cutting corners on repairs. I want copies of everything, I demanded. Every document, every complaint. I want to see exactly what Kelly showed you today. Patricia, please try to understand. No, you understand, I snapped. That house is my life. I've put every penny I have into it, and I'm not leaving without a fight. I hung up before she could say another word. Lauren squeezed my shoulder. That's my girl. Now what? Now we gather evidence, I said, grabbing my laptop. I need proof that Kelly is lying. My phone buzzed. A text from Harold. Meet me at Jordan's Coffee in 25.
Need to talk.
20 minutes later, I walked into Jordan's and spotted my brother in our usual corner booth. His face looked tense, guilty. You knew, I said as I slid into the seat across from him. You knew what they were planning. Harold ran a hand through his hair. I found out yesterday morning. Mom and Dad swore me to secrecy. They said Kelly had proof you were in trouble. And you believed her? Of course not. He leaned forward. Look, something weird is going on. Last week, I overheard Kelly on the phone talking about property values and development in our neighborhood. My stomach dropped. Development.
Yeah.
And get this, her fiancé, Logan? His family owns that new luxury condo complex downtown. The pieces started coming together. Our street was one of the last historic areas in town. A prime spot for new development. My house sat on the biggest lot. She wants to sell it to developers, I whispered. That's why she's doing this. There's more, Harold said. I did some digging. Kelly's been meeting with the City Planning Commission. And guess who else was at those meetings? I already knew the answer. Mom and Dad. He nodded. They think they're protecting you from financial trouble. But Kelly is using them. She convinced them that selling is the only way to save you. My phone buzzed again. An email from Mom. With attachments. I opened the email and quickly scanned the documents. My heart pounded as I showed them to Harold. The letterhead is wrong. The permit numbers don't match my records, I said. She faked them. Keep your voice down, Harold warned, glancing around. Kelly has friends everywhere. I don't care. This is proof she's lying. I stood up, suddenly full of energy. I need to show Mom and Dad. Wait. Harold grabbed my wrist. Kelly's wedding to Logan is in 3 weeks. Everyone will be there, family, friends, business partners. If you're going to expose her, that's your chance to do it right. I sank back into my seat, my mind racing. For weeks. That's how long I had to gather evidence and prove she was trying to steal my home for her fiancé's development company. I'll help, Harold said firmly.
So will Lauren.
But we have to be smart. I nodded, feeling determination replace my despair. Kelly thinks I'll just give up. That I'll roll over and accept this. But she has no idea what I'm capable of. On the way home, I called Lauren. Hey, remember that friend of yours who works at the city planning office? We need to talk to her. Now. The game was on. And this time, I was playing to win. The planning office smelled like stale coffee and printer ink. Lauren's friend, Megan, pulled another file from the cabinet and added it to the growing stack on her desk. "These are all the development proposals for your neighborhood from the past 7 months," she whispered, even though the office was empty. "Including 3 from Valum Development Group. Logan's company," I muttered, flipping through the pages. My hands froze on a familiar sketch. My house. Lauren leaned over my shoulder. "Look at the date. This was filed 3 months ago," I said, my anger rising. "Before the eviction notice. Before any of this started." Megan glanced nervously at the door. "There's something else. These signatures here," she pointed to the bottom of the document. "Your parents' names, approving the preliminary survey." My stomach twisted. "They've been planning this for months," Lauren whispered. She grabbed my arm, pointing to another name. "Look who notarized it." The name jumped off the page. Bruce Weber. Kelly's father. That sneaky little. I stopped as footsteps echoed in the hallway. Megan hurriedly shoved the files back into the cabinet. "I have copies at my desk. I'll email them to you tonight." We slipped out just in time. In the parking lot, I leaned against my car, trying to steady my breathing. "We need to talk to Logan," Lauren said. "Maybe he doesn't know what Kelly is doing."
He has to know, I said.
His company filed the proposals.
My phone rang.
"Harold. Sis, you need to get to Mom and Dad's.
Now.
What's wrong?" "Kelly's there, with some contractor. They're talking about renovation plans." My grip tightened on my phone. "They're acting like they already own the place." I was already in my car. "I'm coming." 20 minutes later, I stormed through my parents' front door. Kelly's voice drifted from the kitchen, smooth as honey. "The whole street will benefit from modernization. Property values will." "Over my dead body," I announced. Everyone jumped. Kelly was the first to recover, her smile never fading. "Patricia, we were just discussing the neighborhood's future." "You mean your future? Your fiancé's future?" I slapped the development proposals onto the kitchen table. "When were you going to tell everyone about Logan's plans?" My mother's face paled. "What is she talking about, Kelly?" "Don't listen to her," Kelly said quickly. "She's just upset about the eviction." "Show them," I demanded. "Show them the real reason you want my house." The contractor cleared his throat. "I should go." "Stay," Kelly ordered. "Patricia's just making a scene as always. So emotional about everything." "Emotional?" I laughed bitterly. "You forged documents. You lied to our parents. You're trying to steal my home for your fiancé's development project." "That's enough," my father shouted. "Kelly has been nothing but helpful." "Helpful." I grabbed the proposals and threw them in front of him. "Look at the dates. Look at the signatures. She's been planning this for months." My mother picked up the papers, her hands shaking. These aren't the documents you showed us, Kelly." "Because they're fake," Kelly snapped. "Patricia's desperate. She'll say anything." "I have copies from the city planning office." I cut in. "Official copies. Want to see them?" For the first time, Kelly's calm mask cracked. "You went through official records?" "And I found everything. The fake complaints. The forged permits. The development plans. It's all there." The contractor stood up. "Miss Shelton, if there's some kind of legal issue." "There's no issue," Kelly said through clenched teeth. "Everything's fine." My phone buzzed. An email from Megan. The proof. I held up my phone. "Want to see the evidence? It's right here." Kelly's expression hardened. "You have no idea what you're doing, Patricia. No idea who you're dealing with." "No, you have no idea who you're dealing with." I turned to my parents. "Check your emails. I'm sending you everything. Every lie, every forged document, every secret meeting with Valram Development." "Kelly?" My mother's voice was small. "Is this true?" But Kelly was already heading for the door, the contractor following behind her. At the threshold, she turned back. "This isn't over, Patricia. Not by a long shot." Then she was gone. Silence filled the kitchen. My father stared at the documents, his face pale. "We should have asked you," he finally said. Should have checked.
Yes.
You should have. I gathered my papers. But now you know the truth. The question is, what are you going to do about it? I left them there, surrounded by evidence of their own misplaced trust. And I walked out. I called Lauren. Phase 1 complete, I said. Now we go after Logan. Finding him was easier than I thought. He was at his usual lunch spot, a trendy cafe downtown, sitting with his sister, Evelyn. I smoothed my blazer and walked up to their table, Lauren close behind me. Mind if we join you? I asked, sliding into an empty chair before Logan could answer. His fork clattered against his plate. Patricia? What are you doing here? Funny story, I said, pulling out a stack of papers. I was just at the city planning office. Found some very interesting documents about my house. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. Your house? You mean the Victorian cella mentioned? The same one your brother's company plans to demolish, I said, watching Logan's face closely. Demolish. Evelyn turned to her brother. Logan, what is she talking about? Logan wiped his mouth with a napkin. This isn't the place. It's exactly the place, I interrupted, spreading the documents on the table. Your company filed these 3 months ago. Before the eviction notice. Before all of Kelly's lies. Evelyn snatched the papers, her face darkening as she read them. You're planning to tear down the entire street? Replace it with condos. It's a sound business decision, Logan said, sitting straighter. It's my home, I shot back. And Kelly has been manipulating my family to get it. Your parents were willing sellers, Logan countered. But I caught the hesitation in his voice. Lauren leaned forward. They were willing because Kelly tricked them. She showed them fake documents saying Patricia was mismanaging the property. She lied to everyone. Evelyn pushed her plate away, disgust clear on her face. Is that why you're rushing the wedding? To close this deal? Logan sighed. The timing is convenient. I laughed bitterly. Oh, so you admit it. Progress requires sacrifice, he started, but Evelyn cut him off.
No.
This requires deception. And I won't be part of it. She grabbed her bag and stood up. Count me out of the wedding party. Evelyn, wait. Logan called after her, but she was already storming out. I smiled sweetly. Trouble in paradise? You have no right to interfere in my business, Logan hissed. And you have no right to my house. I stood up. By the way, I sent copies of everything to the City Ethics Board. They're very interested in how Valram Development got those preliminary approvals. The color drained from his face. You're bluffing. I smirked. Try me. I dropped a business card on the table. That's my lawyer's number. You might need it. Outside, Evelyn was waiting by my car. I want to help, she said. Why should I trust you? She met my eyes. Because I've watched Kelly manipulate my brother for months. Because I know exactly how she operates. Her voice sharpened. And because I have access to Valram's internal files. Lauren grabbed my arm. Patricia, this could be huge. I turned back to Evelyn. What's in it for you? I looked at Evelyn. Why are you helping? Justice, she said. And the satisfaction of watching Kelly's perfect plan fall apart. She pulled out her phone. Starting with these. She showed me emails between her and Logan, going back 7 months. I scanned the messages, my heart pounding. There was clear proof. They had planned everything. Discussions about pressuring my parents, forcing the sale, and speeding up the development. This is exactly what we need, Lauren whispered. There's more, Evelyn said. Board meetings, private conversations, financial records. I can get you everything. My phone buzzed. A text from Harold. Mom and Dad want to talk. They saw the evidence. Looks like things are turning in our favor, I told Evelyn. But we need to move fast. The wedding is in 15 days. Perfect timing, Evelyn said with a smirk. Just enough time for everything to fall apart. I'll send you what I have tonight. As she walked away, Lauren turned to me. Are you sure about this? About using her? She's using us too, I pointed out. But for now, we want the same thing. My phone buzzed again, an unknown number. Back off now, or you'll regret it. Some things are worth more than a house. Lauren read over my shoulder. She's threatening you. No, I said, saving the message. She's desperate. And desperate people make mistakes. I turned toward my car, determination burning in my chest. Let's go see my parents. It's time they see exactly who they've been protecting. Everything was falling into place faster than I expected. But Kelly's threat stayed in my mind. A warning that this fight wasn't over. And something told me the worst was still coming. I woke to the sound of breaking glass. Heart racing, I jumped out of bed and ran downstairs. My front window was shattered. A brick lay among the shards. A note was wrapped around it. Final warning. My hands shook as I called the police. While I waited, I texted Lauren and Harold. They arrived before the cops did. This has gone too far, Harold said, picking up the brick. You need to be careful, Patricia. I'm not backing down now. I handed the note to the officer as he wrote down my statement. This is part of something bigger, I said. I have documents, emails, proof. Just file a restraining order, the officer said, looking bored. Not much we can do without proof of who threw it. After they left, Lauren helped me board up the window. At least we have Evelyn's evidence now, she said. Those emails she sent last night? Devastating. Speaking of which, I checked my phone. 5 missed calls from my mother. I need to go see them, I said. They've had time to process everything. I'm coming with you, Harold insisted. 40 minutes later, we sat in our parents' living room. Mom's eyes were red from crying. We've been such fools, she whispered. All those documents Kelly showed us, we wanted to believe she was helping. We thought they were just renovating, Dad added, his voice heavy. We had no idea they planned to tear down the whole street. Kelly knew exactly how to manipulate you, I said.
She played on your fears about me.
Made you think I was in trouble. She's been manipulating this family for years, Harold added. Remember when she convinced you to give her grandma's jewelry instead of Patricia? Mom's face crumpled. She said you didn't want it, that you thought it was old-fashioned. I never said that. I swallowed hard. Just like I never made unauthorized changes to the house. Just like I never got complaints from neighbors. We know that now, Dad said. We talked to everyone on the street. No one ever complained. In fact, they love what you've done with the place. My phone buzzed. A text from Evelyn. Emergency. Meet me at Lady Bird Park.
Now.
I have to go, I said, standing up. But first, are you with me on this? Really with me? Mom straightened her shoulders. We'll do whatever it takes to make this right. At the park, Evelyn was pacing near the fountain, her face pale. Kelly knows I helped you, she said. She's threatening to expose something from my past to Valram's board. What is it? I asked. A mistake I made years ago. If she tells them, it could ruin my career. She ran a hand through her hair. I can't risk it. Hey. I grabbed her shoulders. Whatever it is, it can't be worse than what she's doing now. You don't understand, Evelyn whispered. My whole life could fall apart. Then let it. The words came out harsher than I intended. Sometimes you have to lose everything to do the right thing. Her eyes filled with tears. Easy for you to say. You're just fighting for a house.
No.
I shook my head. I'm fighting for justice. For truth. For every person Kelly has ever lied to, used, or hurt. I softened my voice. That includes you. Evelyn wiped her eyes. There's something else, she said. I overheard Logan on the phone. They're moving up the timeline. They want to close the deal right after the wedding. That's in a week. Less. Evelyn corrected. The rehearsal dinner is in 4 days. She straightened up, her face set with determination. You're right. I can't let her win. Not again. My phone lit up with another text from an unknown number.
Hope you enjoyed the brick.
Next time, it won't be your window.
S.
I showed Evelyn the message. Her expression hardened. She's really losing it. Good, I said. The more desperate she gets, the more mistakes she'll make, I said. Evelyn's eyes lit up. The rehearsal dinner, she said suddenly. All the investors will be there. The board members. the family. It's the perfect time to expose everything. But Kelly will be expecting something, I warned. She'll be ready. Then we have to be better prepared. I looked at her seriously. I need everything, every document, every email, every piece of proof you can find. And I need it tonight. Evelyn nodded. I'll have it in 3 hours. As she walked away, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was Lauren. Your mom just called. Kelly is at their house, crying, saying you're trying to ruin her life. Your parents aren't buying it, but she's putting on quite a show. I texted back. Let her perform. In 4 days, she'll have a real reason to cry. The stakes were higher now. The threats were getting worse. But with every desperate move Kelly made, she only proved how close we were to bringing her down. The countdown to the rehearsal dinner had begun. The day before the rehearsal dinner, I sat in my lawyer's office, surrounded by stacks of evidence. Sophia, my attorney, flipped through the documents, her interest growing. These emails between Kelly and Valram are damning, she said. And these forged documents? That's criminal. But is it enough? I asked. Enough to stop the development? Absolutely. Enough to press charges? Probably. She leaned forward. But are you sure you want to do this at the rehearsal dinner? It's the perfect timing, I said. The investors will be there. The entire family will be there. My phone buzzed again. Another threat from Kelly. Last chance to back down. Remember, I know about Austin. Sophia caught my expression. What's wrong? She's trying to blackmail me now. I showed her the text. But the Austin thing, it's nothing. Just a spring break mistake from college. She thinks she can use it against me. Document everything, Sophia advised, handing me a USB drive. I've organized all the evidence here, including the police report about the brick. Are you sure you don't want private security? I'll be fine, I said. Harold and Lauren will be with me tomorrow night. Outside the office, I spotted Evelyn waiting in her car. Get in, she said. There's something you need to see. She drove us to Logan's office building, parking in the underground garage. Logan and Kelly are in a board meeting upstairs, she said. But look at this. She pulled out her tablet and played security footage from earlier that day. Kelly was arguing with someone in the garage. Her father. Turn up the volume, I said. On the screen, her father's voice came through, tense and frustrated. I can't keep covering for you, Kelly. The notary stamps, the forged documents, it's too much risk. Daddy, please, Kelly begged. Just one more day. After the rehearsal dinner, it won't matter anymore. I stiffened. What's happening after the rehearsal dinner? I looked at Evelyn. I don't know, she said. But they've booked a private room at the restaurant, invitation only, after the main event. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Lauren. Patricia, you need to get home. Now. Someone's been in your house. I broke every speed limit getting there. Lauren and Harold were waiting outside. Inside, my breath caught. Every wall I had painted. Every fixture I had restored. Every inch of my hard work, photographed and marked with bright red X's. They're documenting everything they plan to destroy, Harold said quietly. Lauren picked up a business card left on the counter. Look who's handling the demolition. I read the name, my blood boiling. It was Weber's uncle. They're keeping it all in the family, I said bitterly. How did they even get in? Harold sighed. Your mom called. Kelly asked to borrow her spare key this morning. Said she needed to measure for wedding decorations. And Mom gave it to her? No. But when she refused, Kelly broke down crying, saying you were trying to ruin her special day. Mom felt guilty and told her where she keeps the spare. I sank onto the stairs, staring at the red X's covering my home. This was Grandma's house. I learned to walk on these floors. Had my first kiss in that bay window. And you're not going to lose it, Lauren said firmly. Tomorrow night, we end this. My phone buzzed, a text from Evelyn. Emergency. Kelly changed the seating chart. You're not invited to the private meeting anymore. Doesn't matter, I texted back. We'll do it during the main dinner. More witnesses that way. I spent the rest of the day with Sophia, finalizing our strategy. By nightfall, everything was ready. Lying in bed, I heard footsteps on my porch. Heart pounding, I grabbed my phone, ready to call the police. I crept to the window. It was just my mother. She left something by the door and walked away. I opened it, a small package with a note. Your grandmother wanted you to have this. I should have given it to you years ago. Love, Mom. Inside was my grandmother's antique locket. The one Kelly had claimed I didn't want. I opened it. A tiny photograph of my grandmother standing proudly in front of the house the day she bought it. My phone buzzed again. One final threat from Kelly. Hope you're ready for tomorrow. Because I am. I touched the locket, then looked at the red X's marking my walls. Bring it on. Tomorrow, everything would change. Either I'd save my home and expose Kelly's lies, or I'd lose everything I had fought for. But looking at my grandmother's proud smile in that old photograph, I knew which one it would be. I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going down without a fight. The rehearsal dinner couldn't come soon enough. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Kelly sat at the main table, glowing in white, playing the perfect bride. Logan moved through the crowd, charming investors, making sure everyone was in place. I sat between Lauren and Harold, my grandmother's locket cool against my skin, waiting for the right moment. Look who just arrived, Lauren whispered. I glanced toward the entrance. Sophia, my lawyer, walked in with Evelyn. Right on schedule. Kelly's smile faltered for just a second before she recovered, standing to greet them. Evelyn, darling. I was worried you wouldn't make it after our little disagreement. Wouldn't miss it, Evelyn said coolly. Then she turned to the guests. Everyone, have you met Sophia? She's a fascinating person. She specializes in real estate fraud. The room went quiet. Logan appeared at Kelly's side, his grip tight on her arm. Perhaps we should start the toasts, he suggested. Wonderful idea, I said, standing and raising my glass. Kelly stiffened. That's not on the program, she said quickly. Oh, but I insist. I walked to the center of the room. After all, what kind of cousin would I be if I didn't congratulate you on your achievements? Silence fell. Every eye was on me. Patricia, my mother whispered, a warning in her voice. It's okay, Mom, I said calmly. I just want to share some interesting documents with everyone. I nodded to Sophia. She stepped forward, handing out folders to the investors. Consider it my wedding gift. Kelly's eyes went wide. Security, she called. But Evelyn was already at the door, blocking the exit. Let's start with these emails, I continued, my voice strong. They detail how Kelly and Logan planned to forge documents, manipulate my family, and steal my home for Logan's development project. Logan stepped forward, his expression tense. These are private business matters. Fraud is never private, Sophia cut in. Neither is forgery. She held up another set of papers. Which brings us to Exhibit B, falsified complaints and fake permits, complete with unauthorized notary stamps from Kelly's father. Cahoon's father shot up, his face red. Now, wait just a minute. The ethics board is very interested in your involvement, Sophia said smoothly. They'll be in touch soon. Kelly's composure snapped. You're ruining everything, she shrieked, lunging for the folders. But Harold was faster, already handing copies to the board members. Like you tried to ruin my life? I asked, staring her down. The threats, the brick through my window, the break-in. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Then Logan's sister stood. The police have been notified, she announced. About everything. Logan, do something, Kelly pleaded. But Logan wasn't listening. He was flipping through the documents, his expression darkening with every page. You told me her family agreed to sell, he said, his voice cold. That everything was legal. It was just business. Kelly protested. A simple property deal. Simple. Logan muttered. His grip on the papers tightened. Kelly's world was falling apart. And this time, there was no escape. I pulled out my phone and pressed play. Kelly's voice filled the room. After the rehearsal dinner, it won't matter anymore. Logan's face darkened. What were you planning? He demanded. What happens after dinner? Kelly said nothing. Her father sighed heavily. The demolition crew is scheduled for midnight, he admitted. We thought if the house was already gone. My breath caught. You were going to destroy my home tonight? My voice cracked. While everyone was celebrating your wedding? The room erupted. Investors stormed out. Board members whispered in tight groups. Family members shouted over one another. Through it all, Kelly stood frozen. Her perfect world, falling apart. The development deal is off, Logan announced. And so is the wedding. Kelly's face went pale. But the deposits, the contracts. Her voice was small. Are void due to fraud, Sophia added helpfully. As is the eviction notice. My mother stepped forward, her expression filled with hurt. How could you do this to family? Because she never cared about family, I said softly. Only power, control, getting what she wants, no matter who she hurts. Kelly's composure finally cracked. You think you've won, she spat. You've ruined everything I built.
No.
I touched my grandmother's locket. You did that yourself. Every lie, every scheme, every betrayal. That was all you. Then the police arrived. Officers asked questions, took statements. And just like that, Kelly's carefully built life crumbled completely. My father turned to me, pulling me into a hug. The house is yours, he said. It always was. We forgot what family really means. Later, standing outside the restaurant, Lauren squeezed my hand. How does it feel? I looked up at the night sky, thinking of my grandmother's old photograph. Like justice, I said. Like home. My phone buzzed. A message from Evelyn. Board meeting tomorrow. Valram is pulling out of all neighborhood developments. I smiled. Justice, indeed. I watched as Kelly was escorted to a police car, mascara streaking down her cheeks. But I felt no joy in her downfall. Just relief. Relief that my home, my family's legacy, was safe at last. The morning sun streamed through my newly repaired window as I sipped coffee on my front porch. The newspaper headline caught my eye. Valram Development faces investigation. CEO steps down. Below it, a smaller headline. Local woman charged with fraud, criminal conspiracy.
My phone rang.
Evelyn. Have you seen the news? She asked. Just reading it now. How are you holding up? Better than expected, she said. The board appointed me interim CEO. Turns out exposing corruption has its perks. A car pulled into my driveway. My parents. Mom carried a large box. Dad lugged what looked like photo albums. I'll call you back, I told Evelyn. It was time to make new memories. I told Evelyn I'd call her later. Mom set the box down carefully. We've been going through the attic, she said. Found some things that belong here. Inside were pieces of my grandmother's life, her journals, recipes, old letters. Dad opened one of the albums and pointed to a faded photo. That's her, he said. The day she bought this house. Said it was the proudest moment of her life. Until you were born, Mom added softly. She always wanted you to have it. The screen door creaked open. Lauren stepped out, holding 2 fresh cups of coffee. Look who just pulled up, she said. A police car parked across the street. Officer Brian got out, holding a folder. Miss Harding, he said. We're covered some items from Kelly's office. Things she took from your house. He handed me the folder. Also, you should know, she took a plea deal. Full confession. Thank you, I said, flipping through the folder. Inside were old photographs she had stolen years ago, claiming they were lost. The DA wants to know if you'll testify about the harassment, Officer Brian added. I glanced at my repaired window, remembering the brick, the threats, the fear. Yes, I said. I will. He nodded and left. Mom touched one of the recovered photos. Your 5th birthday, she murmured. Kelly was so jealous of your party. She threw cake at you. Dad chuckled. We should have seen the signs back then. We all miss the signs, I said. But we can't change the past. A truck rumbled up the street. Harold. And, to my surprise, Logan in the passenger seat. They carried construction supplies toward the house. Before I could say anything, Harold called out. He volunteered. Logan set down a paint can. I owe you, he said. We all do. Let me help fix what we almost destroyed. I studied him for a moment, then nodded. Start with the back porch. It needs new railings. The day unfolded like a breath of fresh air. While Harold and Logan worked on repairs, Mom and I sorted through Grandma's old belongings. Lauren organized a neighborhood potluck on the lawn. Even Evelyn stopped by, carrying corporate documents. The board wants to create a fund, she explained, handing me the papers, to help homeowners restore historic properties instead of demolishing them. Karma works in mysterious ways, Lauren said with a smirk. As evening fell, neighbors gathered on my lawn, sharing food and stories. Mrs. Jacqueline from next door handed me a plate. Your grandmother loved these, she said, smiling. She used to host dinners like this all the time. The house was always full of people, full of life. I touched my locket, thinking of the photograph inside. Maybe it's time to restart that tradition. Dad raised his glass. To new beginnings. And old foundations, Mom added. My phone buzzed. A text from Sophia. Deal finalized. Kelly is serving time. The house is officially safe. I looked around at my gathered family, friends, and neighbors. And I knew this house wasn't just walls and windows. Not just a property to be saved. It was a home, alive with memories, full of possibilities. You know, Lauren said, nudging me. Your birthday's coming up again. I laughed. No surprise parties this time.
She grinned. No.
But maybe a housewarming. To celebrate properly.